welcome. This Friday I'm going to keep it short. I'm still flabbergasted by what the vice president said. But why is it that a country that was built on immigration, anti-immigration? The short answer, you look at the numbers in the books, is anti-non-European immigration. We've had China Exclusion Acts. We have a border wall, only in the south, not the north. And it's messed up. But do not come. What are you saying? What is the goal there? Immigration is going to happen regardless because of interference by the United States and other countries and colonialism, damaging other communities around the world, leaving them impoverished and wrecked, basically. So people are going to move around to do what's best, you know? I say this as the son of an immigrant because my parents came here for a better life. And I'd say they got it, especially for their kids. Granted, I was born here, so I don't really know what it's like living in Dominican Republic or growing up there, like post Trujillo, right? Dictators and stuff. But a lot of those sentiments I grew up with because my parents also shared a lot of those ideals. And I know a lot of Hispanic households shared them as well and probably still share them now. And as we develop and become Americanized, but also connected to our roots, you become more patriotic, in my opinion. Yet, we are denying people who just simply want what's best for their family. And I get, there's a legal way to do it. Well, the legal way sucks. And there's such a backlog of lines. And then it's unfair because it costs so much money. And if the idea is to immigrate so you can make money and make a living, how are you going to do that to start, right? So that basically entails only those rich can come here. What sense does that make? And those of you in New York City, I'd recommend to go to Ellis Island and really think about the concept of people coming there. Not from the mainland to the island. I'm talking about from like Europe. On the other coast, imagine going to Angel Islands, like where everyone's coming in from Asia. With so much movement historically, why do we feel so centered in building these walls when they've been proven time and time again to be torn down, to be evaded, to be underground tunnels and all this stuff? It becomes a ridiculous model. And I wanted to read this. I'm still reading this book about the insurrection by John Brown. And it was interesting reading this defense attorney. And it was talking about how after the insurrection led by John Brown, when they raided the armory in Harper's Ferry, they were tried. They were captured. Many of them were killed. I'm sorry, I'm turning a book. But where is it? I'm sorry, I'm going to turn a page. Oh, right here, yeah. So a part of the insurrection was also like some free African Americans, right? And also some slaves. But their lawyer argued that he and the other black defendants, Shields Green, couldn't be charged with treason because the Supreme Court, in its notorious Dred Scott decision of 1857, had ruled that blacks were being of an inferior order who possessed no rights which the white man was bound to respect. Black slaves, or free, were effectively non-citizens, and such had no government to betray. So when I look at immigration, when I look at laws, when I look at racism, a lot of this stuff is institutionalized because what amendment makes Caucasian citizens in the United States? There literally is an amendment for African Americans to be declared citizens in this country. No other race or ethnicity necessarily has that, right? What's up with that? And in that context of immigration, it was forced immigration. They were brought here, put on ships, and dragged here against their will to work. I'm sorry, I'm not on the table, but do not come. Do not come. Wow. Just wow. And it's intriguing to me because is that like an appeal topic, you know, like trying to get the Republicans back on their side or something, or let the Democratic roots seep through from its origins? Because that's something that the 1860, 1870 Democrats would say. But here we are in 2021, and the same messages are being brought out in the context that stay where you are. I feel like as an American, and the whole talk of, oh, be responsible. Yeah, we should be responsible for the shit that we've done around the world. How colonialism has basically wrecked the world. Where the public majority of people live are just getting wrecked. It's not fair. Everyone's being abused and regulated to just lesser beings, and it's not fair. This whole comparison to third world countries, and America ain't that far behind in various aspects. We're not the best in education, we're not the best in engineering, we're not the best in much besides thinking we're the best. And it's painful because you want to do what's right. You want to stand up for moral reasons and like stick to your like morality in this concept. Yet, how can you? With all the injustices we see on a daily basis, from walking into a store, for going for a run, for buying a pack of cigarettes, for buying Skittles, for sleeping, for chilling in your house, for babysitting. How can Americans truly think we're free in that context and want to deny that freedom to others? And it's like another thing too that always gets me with the context of immigration, especially people coming to the United States. Personally, I'd say go to Canada. It's not the best, but in various ways it's better than here. How can we keep boasting that we're the best country on earth or the best in whatever and deny people to come? Is that not capitalism, right? Like to portray being top dog and want to sell it. We're selling it around the world and denying entry to those who may need it most. Oh, they bring in drugs? No, the drugs are already here. The systems that get the drugs here and all that stuff, that's not going away because people are becoming so dependent on drugs in the first place, you know? Like, oh, weed's not addicting. You know how many people I've heard say, oh, I gotta smoke before I eat? Like, you're becoming dependent. That's what addiction is, you know? Oh, with the benefits, but this, but that. Anything in excess is bad for you. We already know that, you know? Like for me, I gotta stop eating freaking sweets and pizza and chill out on the bread. But I'm so accustomed to it because the way I grew up was it's filling, so I'm gonna eat it. And then if I have it, I eat it all. And getting out of a poverty mindset, it's difficult because it's that survivor mindset. Now you have all these people who are barely surviving, trying to, and their best option is coming here. Because even if you could think about the fact that a lot of these immigrants are being held in prisons, and those are quote unquote better conditions than what they were experiencing back home, thousands of miles away from walking and running and jogging and swimming. Holy crap. People in Florida won't even walk to the store because it's too hot. Could you imagine trekking across the landscapes But I do give credit to the concept of what they're trying. I would like to see an apology, but like many things in life, people don't do that for some reason. Maybe it's pride. But the concept of going to Guatemala, to Nicaragua, to the quote-unquote Central Triangle, whatever, get involved with the communities and listen to what their needs are. Provide aid so that we can amend the wrongs we've done, but also help them move forward and move forward together. Because you're not doing it like as a charity, you're doing it as equals. Because even if we go back to, like, I know it's a bad analogy, but like the big stick policy, the concept there, well, one of the concepts is America keeping an eye on our hemisphere, because in this hemisphere we're one of the, if not the most powerful entity in this hemisphere. So if we're gonna have all this influence and stuff, let's help as equals, not down, like not a charity, like, especially if you look at historically all the wrongs we've done in these areas and the wrongs we continue to do. Because even when people come here, especially from South America, they're still discriminated against. They're still, this is America, speak English. First of all, English is the language that was spoken for the least amount of time in this country, you know, in comparison to the others, in comparison to Spanish, to native languages, to even African languages. English is close to the bottom of being spoken in this hemisphere. So check yourself with that. But most importantly, I would like to see this conversation switch into being allies, into being co-workers in this hemisphere. Because we've damaged so much. And a lot of those drugs, where do they come? Here. Why? Because we ask for it. We buy it. We have the industry that claims it. Right? Drugs built Miami. So if we truly want to see change, if we truly want to see a difference in our communities, how do we do that? How do we do that equitably? How do we do that sustainably? Those are where I want conversations to go. And that's where I spend a lot of my thought processes on. And I know I'm still recovering from trauma of being in an unsustainable environment, but overcoming that and finding that sustainability within yourself, so because that's key. And then you can start helping outwards. Like, for the vice president to go on and say, do not come on, that's so messed up. It's so messed up. You know, but here we are again. Another messaging of anti-immigration, another messaging of this, another messaging of that. And I get we're going to be riled up with the way she said it and all that other stuff, but hopefully we continue through with progress in this aspect, you know? I'm hoping that the talks of changing the immigration in this country happens, because we need immigration reform. Because the process of getting here legally is a nightmare, and it's biased and it's unfair. And then you want to get into the process of people coming here anyway. Good, you're going to the countries. Why are they coming here? Well, maybe if we stop saying we're the best, come here. Maybe that's one topic. But why are people coming here? Why is the economies around so wrecked? What caused that? And obviously, if you look at the history, it's us. It's the U.S. wrecked a lot of this stuff. And we should take responsibility in that respect and understand how much we've damaged this hemisphere with our policies and with our mandates and with our protections and with our embargoes and all this other stuff, with our attacks and with our coups. We should stop and listen to the communities at hand and start empowering people to rise up and build their communities from the ground up. Because not for nothing, the same reason I see people, or understand why people are coming here to the United States, I see the same reasonings within communities within the United States of why they leave the United States or their cities and towns to other areas, you know? Like, I'm from New York City, and now I'm in Arizona. Why? Economy, opportunities. I didn't go cross country yet. I was in Puerto Rico for a bit, but the same issues that we're seeing in our communities are reflective in the communities at large. So there's a place of understanding of how this stuff can be amended, to be bettered, not fixed. I don't think that's truly possible with the mentalities and the messaging that we get across and the fluidness of every 4 years. But instead of pointing fingers and blaming, we need to listen, acknowledge, and move forward. Because like the bus is moving, it's not stopping. Progress is happening, whether you want to believe in it or not. And the faster progress can go, the better. Because what are we going to leave behind when we're gone? We're not immortal, and we want to be immortalized in our TikToks and our Instagrams and our Facebooks and our lives. But time comes, time goes. But how much of an impact can you leave behind in your community and within your family and the larger community at hand that can continue society forward equitably, responsibly, and respectfully? And I'm hoping that's the direction this conversation turns. We should, as aggravating as the do not come is, we can't get caught up in that. Hold that crap accountable, because that was hella wrong. But we can't get caught up in the drama, because Fox News is going to have a run with this, and every freaking conservative website out there is just cackling at this. But now we need action. We need to continue empowering leaders who will take action and who will make the hard decisions. And we can even make those within our own communities. Moving thousands of miles away from home for a better life should not be a crime. And doing so shouldn't be made more difficult by the processes put in place. So let us take a hard look at immigration reform. Let us understand the trueness of this legal system of coming here. And also remember, seeking asylum is a legal way of immigration. So, when people show up at the border, they're seeking asylum. From what? Learn that issue. Learn why. Learn the causes. And we gotta stop denying historical facts and look at and analyze where we're coming from and where we can go. This was going to be short. I was so flabbergasted by that whole comment, but do not come. Wow. I'd say come and be welcomed into a community, because we're all in this together.